I want to tell you a story. On Friday night, I was at an event, and a young lady who was doing a great job of serving me while I was at this event found out a bit more about what I did. And she said, "I'd love to work in sales. How can I get a chance to work in sales? What do I need to do?" So in this video, I'm just going to tell you everything you need to do. If you're thinking of a career change, if you're thinking that, I want to move into sales and start seeing the benefits that other salespeople have, then I'm going to show you everything you need to do to become a salesperson. I'm going to talk about the skills you need to develop. I'm going to talk about the things you need to learn. I'm going to talk about the things that you've got to put in place in order to be a successful salesperson in 2025 and onwards from there. So yeah, let's get into the meat of what you got to do. And it's what I'm going to share with this lady when I meet her. I've offered the chance to give her an interview to come and work in one of my businesses. She wants to be a salesperson. Here's how you do it. But have you actually got the skills and the ability to change from your current career into becoming a salesperson? The honest answer is you may not. But I'm going to share with you in the video the things you've got to put in place, the things that great salespeople have, the things that if you don't do, you will fail at, and you might as well stick at doing what you're doing right now. So let's look at what you've got to do. Let's look at the skills and the attributes you've got to have to become successful in selling and to make sure that you can give yourself the best chance of making that career path and change a successful one rather than one that fails. So what are the skills then? What are the things you've got to put in place? So during the course of this video, and especially towards the end, I'm going to share with you a model that I use that is a series of characteristics that great salespeople have. They're skills that I've developed over my career and which I train in people that I work with. And at the end, I'm also going to share with you a link to something which is going to give you the chance to develop those skills yourself and become the salesperson that you're thinking, can I be this? But the reality is we've got to be able to work out what skills we need. And there are some basic ones to start off with that are just you have to have. So I'm going to teach you a model called TRACKFARE, which are around some characteristics to have and some other transferable skills that you've maybe got. Maybe you're a barista in a coffee shop. Maybe you're a waiter or waitress in an event hospitality business. Maybe you're even someone that works in customer service role, for example, for a company where you're engaging with customers on a regular basis. Maybe maybe you've worked in a sports field, for example, where you're in a sports event. I don't know, it depends where you're at and what you're thinking. But if you're thinking, could I become successful in sales? I'm going to share with you what you've got to do. And the key things around that are there's some people transferable skills around the way you communicate, the way you engage, the way you build rapport, the confidence you have, and also your ability and attitude to continue to learn and develop your skills that are critical for us to do that. So we're going to talk about those elements and what are the things you've got to put in place to make sure you can make that transition. So do you want to earn some money and build a life that gives you everything that you dream of? Maybe the house, the great holidays, the cars. I don't know what it is you're dreaming of. Maybe just the ability to go out and buy dinner for your family. If you want those skills and you think, yeah, well, I've got more chance of getting those in sales than I have in working in the role I am now, then this is what we're going to make sure you can show to an employer, maybe like me, to get that role that you want and then to take the action needed to get to become a sales success. The first skill for me is all around people skills. People talk a lot about, great salespeople have the ability to build strong relationships with other people. And I have done a video in the past called Emotional Sales Intelligence. And I always talk to the people that I work with and great salespeople about having those really key 5 characteristics that are really important. And one of these characteristics is the ability to socialize and to build relationships with people. And the simplest way to do that is to think about just smiling. When we smile and when we engage and when we try and approach and engage with other people, we build a vibe and give off a vibe of who we are. There's a great saying that I always use, which is your attitude determines your altitude. And your energy basically introduces you before you speak. The lady that I met on Friday night had a real energy about her. She was pleasant, she smiled, she engaged with us and my colleagues that we were sitting with. And she made us feel at comfort by being able to literally have great conversations with us and talk to us around the things that we were doing at that event. She had people skills that I think were really transferable. And that first one was the ability to smile and to build a relationship and to socialize. So what are the things that you need to do to build a relationship and socialize? Firstly, be interested in people. Whenever I go and meet someone new, I'm always intrigued as to who they are and what's their background and what's their story. And I will ask questions, and she asked questions, the lady on Friday, as to what it is we did and how long we'd been going and what business we were in. Be curious about the people that you meet. Don't just be focused maybe on what you have to say or what you want to do. Be interested and curious about what other people are doing. What's their situation? What's their background? What's their circumstances? And if you want to be successful in sales, just have that curious mindset to ask questions. And the biggest tip I can give you is to ask questions that are open. If you ask questions that are open, such as, what is it that brought you here today? Or where have you come from? Or what background or what business are you in? Then you're going to get a far better answer than if you say to someone, are you in business? Because they're probably going to maybe respond with a yes or no, rather than what business are you in? And I was able to share with this lady the business that I have and what I did, and that then prompted her to be more intrigued and curious. So the biggest thing I'm going to say to you is smile and have that ability to socialize and build relationships. Be curious about people. Be open to just thinking, I don't know who the person is that I'm going to speak to and what their background and their story is. You never know. And have that thought process that, you know what, this could be the person that could open up a door for me. So point number one is this. Just remember that if you want to be successful in sales, we've got to build relationships with people, and great people that are in your skill set right now, and maybe you've got those in the work you do, you can transfer that into sales if you continue to be curious and interested and engaging. So the second point, which is really key about having great transferable skills from your industry to wanting to become someone successful in sales, is the ability not just to talk, but to listen. The very best salespeople have the ability to hear something and then react to it in the right way, and not just react with their story or their side of things. The lady that I spoke to on Friday night understood, and she had that skill to be able to, when we talked a little bit about the business that we were in, she was able to ask a further question. She was able to probe and to be intrigued by what was being said. She'd listened to what we talked about and was then able to ask questions about what she'd heard, rather than just talking at what she thought was the right way to go about things. Most salespeople tend to be very bad at listening, unfortunately, which is why if you're looking at this video and thinking, can I make a change? Can I become successful in sales? Then you've got a great chance, because so many people think sales is just about talking, and it's not. My dad always used to tell me, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, use them in proportion. And the very best salespeople will listen, they'll watch, they'll be aware of what's going on to see what's happening and to spot certain circumstances, rather than just going into a dialogue of pushing what they want to say out. What this other lady also had was the ability to spot, and sometimes we have to listen, not to what we're hearing, but to the body language and the signals that we're giving off. There were 5 of us in that environment, and she was able to see the dynamics of who was leading the conversation and who wasn't leading the conversation. And she was able to pick up on that and to spot through some emotional intelligence as to what the key people were and who were the people that she needed to talk to and engage with. So if you want to be in a position where you transfer across, have that ability to listen. Maybe practice this just at home with loved ones. Maybe if you're in in a customer service role now, really listen to what the customer you're talking to is saying and what they're not saying. What does their tone say? What's their gestures if they're unhappy? Listen to what people don't say to you as much as what they do say to you, and you're going to be in a better position to then understand the best way to get the right result, which is hopefully making that client happy. Listening is a far better skill to focus on if you want to be successful in sales than just talking. We've got to be able to talk and communicate, but listening is a superpower. So point number 3, when it comes to being successful in moving from your maybe choice of career at the moment to sales, is confidence. Now, people might say, well, those people that are really good at sales are always really confident. And they are. But much of the time, those that are successful in sales aren't necessarily always the most uber confident people. They've just sort of built a steely determination to be strong and good at what they do. And in fact, so many people in sales that you may be competing with for jobs aren't particularly confident at all, but they've learned how to control their emotions and the way in which they operate. And that gives them the perception that they're confident, even though sometimes they may be not. But what can you do to build confidence that enables you to make that transition is to basically wake up in the morning and just be a bit kind to yourself about who you are and what you do. So many people wake up and tell themselves that they're not successful, or that they're not good, or that they're not the right person, or they don't have the right skills. Whereas just actually some simple self-acclamation to say, hey, I'm a good person and I'm good job today, and I believe in myself and what I can do, is a simple way by waking up every morning to build that momentum. And over a period of time, days after days, it will start to sink in that you are a good person and that you can achieve whatever you want to. Fundamentally, we are what we think we are. And my dad always used to tell me when he was a sales director and years ago, you've got to program the big computer in your head, your brain, to believe and think what you think you are. So if you believe that you're able to build and make an impact in another role, and you're determined to make that happen, as we'll talk about, then just tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to believe in this and this is what I'm going to achieve. Confidence comes from us being able to see that we are who we think we are. And it also comes from us then being able to practice and do things on a regular basis that deliver the right results. Maybe in the role you're doing right now, when you started, you didn't know how to do it. But over time, as you got familiar and you practiced doing it consistently, day in, day out, you're able to develop your skills and confidence so that you can now do it without thinking of doing it. Something simple as driving a car even is a good example of how when we first started, we're nervous about where to put the gears and what to do. But as we get familiar and comfortable with it, we become more confident to then take on other challenges. So confidence is something we need. You're going to have that in sales in order to be able to have conversations with people that maybe don't want to speak to you, or that give you rejections or objections, in order to be able to handle and solve certain sales situations. So we're going to need to develop that self-confidence. But it's a really simple trick for you to do, just to tell yourself that you've got the ability to go make something happen, and to believe in yourself and to do and think what you say you will. If you can start to develop those elements, it's going to give you that inner belief to make you think, yeah, I can achieve this new career path. So the next point that I talk to people a lot about when it comes to being successful in sales is knowledge. Now, the reality is so many salespeople think they know what it is they're talking about, but don't really have any knowledge and understanding of the marketplace or the place that they're going to engage with. And one of the real successes of sales is to be able to know information so that you can add value to the person that you're selling to. So let's just take, for example, your first opportunity to move into sales, and I don't know where you're based, could be maybe to go and work in maybe a retail shop where you've got the opportunity to maybe sell some, I don't know, TVs or camera equipment or laptops, whatever it might be. Now, that might be the first opportunity that you've got to get into sales. Well, what would I do if I was in that situation? If I was, let's say, maybe selling laptops, I'd start to read up about all of the laptops that are in the marketplace. I'd start to find out about what makes a good laptop. I'd start to find out information. And by the way, all this information is available on YouTube and other sources. I start to find out what are the downsides of certain laptops. I start to look at the brands and the companies that make these laptops and to see, who are the companies that are really successful in this area. I start to look at why are certain prices more than others. I'd become really focused on understanding and building my knowledge around laptops so that I could then go into that company and say, hey, I'm going to give you the best chance of being able to talk to your clients, because I'm going to be able to understand what issues that they face with their laptops, and I'm then going to be able to share ideas or recommend products that are better based upon the knowledge that you've gained. Now, it doesn't have to be on laptops. It could be on TVs. It could be on glasses. It could be on bottles of water. The point is, build knowledge in a certain area. If there's an individual company in your area that's looking for a salesperson, find out what it is that they're selling and build some knowledge, do some research, do some digging to be able to know more on that subject so that you can go in and show that as well as those transferable people skills and that ability to be confident and handle a customer situation, you've also got knowledge about their situation or their products or their services, and you've been ahead of the game and that you can add value to their customers. And if you do that and show that knowledge, which when used at the right time, is going to put you in a really great place to get that sales job and start building the career you want. So the next skill that's really important when it comes to transferring your current role to your new role, maybe in sales, is to be reliable. The reality is, are you the sort of person that your current employer can always count on? You're always in work on time, and barring some really bad illnesses, you're never late and you don't miss your work. Or are you seen as being someone that's just a little bit flaky, that doesn't really turn up or doesn't do what they say they will? Being able to build reliability and show yourself to be a trustworthy person is so important when it comes to sales, because people are buying a future. They're buying what they think might happen in the future, and what they use in order to make a decision on that future is, what does the current tell me? So for example of that, if you're in your current role and you say you're going to do something, make sure you do it. Maybe you're in a customer service environment where you literally have said to a client you're going to do something, or maybe, as I say, you sell coffee in a shop, I don't know. But if a client asks you for something, or a customer asks you, then go and deliver that. Make sure you show you haven't forgotten. And if you need to write it down on a little notepad or whatever, do that, so you can then go back and say to the customer, you asked for this, you've delivered this. Being able to be seen as someone that's reliable and trustworthy is a critical factor in sales. And the only way we can show those skills is to do what we say we will. One of the other things that is a really simple way of doing that is to make sure, if you are applying for an interview or applying for a position, is to say if you'll do something, you'll follow up at that set time. I remember one of the most impressive people that I ever interviewed for a role told me that they would phone me. They sent me the application for the job interview, and then they actually phoned me and said to me they would phone me at 4 p.m. on a day in order to be able to talk about the application. And guess what? At 4 p.m. on that day, they phoned up and said, hey, I'm doing what I said I would. So being able to be seen to be reliable is really key. And set yourself high standards. If you're going to do some simple things to show reliability, just make sure you turn up on time. Make sure you turn up dressed as you should do at the moment. Make sure that you do the work that's required of you right now, and get maybe someone in your current role to testify that. Those simple skills can enable you to show reliability, and it's going to then mean that when it comes to looking for that new sales role, you can transfer those skills across and show other people that you're reliable and someone that can be counted on. That's critical when it comes to building a career, because not only is it key for your new employer, it's also going to be key for your customers. They want you to do what you said you will. Show that reliability. It's a great starting point to make that career change happen. So my next point about being able to make that transition from your career at the moment is your appearance. I'm going to be honest with you. If you look like you've just come through bush backwards and you want to go and impress a client or a customer or someone in an interview, it's not going to happen. Can you make sure that your appearance, and it doesn't have to be maybe you're in a suit and tie, but you look smart and professional. You've spent some time maybe making sure you've grabbed a shower, or making sure that you feel clean and really smell good. We want to look good. We want to feel like we're taking our best, and our appearance gives off that impact. If we end up looking like a mess, or and it doesn't have to be about expensive clothes. You can buy some of the cheapest clothes in charity shops, and it can still make you look smart and effective and suitable for that company. But the reality is, people make a judgment decision on you and your appearance within 7 seconds of you meeting them. And so if you look like a mess, it's going to send the signals that, oh, this could be a worry for me. I'm not sure this person's going to give me everything that I want them to. I'm going to give that a break. Whereas if you look smart and presentable and make sure that you've done the basics in order to make sure you've taken good personal care, it's going to send a signal to other people that you do care about yourself, and that you do care about your story and what you're going to achieve. And that's going to help you try and show that other person that you're worthy of giving a chance to come into that sales environment. Our appearance is critical for both employers, but also our customers. People make a judgment on who we are and then make a decision as to what they think. So make sure you look good, feel good, smell good, and feel like you're in a great position to go and take on that new challenge. That appearance is key, not just in the first interview, but ongoing throughout sales. It says a lot about who you are. Make sure you stand up and be counted and feel good about the way you look, and it's going to help build an appearance of someone that's a potential successful salesperson. So my penultimate point when it comes from transitioning from the role you're in now to a new sales role is enthusiasm. Do you know what? Enthusiasm is so important for me when it comes to hiring and working with salespeople. Am I going to want to buy from someone that's a bit, today's been a tough day, and or am I going to want to work with someone that's got a buzz and an engagement and a passion about them? When I hire people, I generally hire for that enthusiasm they have. And, enthusiasm actually has been known to say, I'm sold myself. It's a bubbleness, it's a care factor. They feel great about their life. They're glass half full people rather than glass half empty. So if you're that type of person, show that enthusiasm, show that energy. And of course, we don't want to be so, that it makes people think that we're OTT, but show that passion, show that care, show that energy. Maybe when you walk into the environment, be really sort of driven, have that drive that makes people think this person really cares about their career and cares about what it is that they're trying to do, and show it through the way you act. And don't be OTT and cocky and arrogant, but just show that passion, that hunger and that energy that says, I'm here, I know I've got to learn, but I'm going to learn and I'm going to develop and build the skills that I want to. Your energy and your infectiousness gives everything away. Your smile is your brand. Keep that appearance off. Make people feel, I want that person as part of what we do. Don't see them as being someone that's going to be miserable and down and a bit nah. Be seen as someone that's enthusiastic, that cares, and is going to be seen as someone that, this person can make an impact in my business, whether it's on the phone to new customers. They might need some training, but they've got that hunger and desire to get better and to learn. So here's 2 more bonus characteristics that you can use if you want to make that transition to whatever you're doing right now into a sales role. The first one is show a desire and a hunger for learning. I interview salespeople every week, and the first question I will always ask them is, what book have you read recently? Or what podcast have you listened to? What video series have you watched? And I'm always amazed when people say to me, I haven't really watched much or listened to much or seen much, when there's so much free content out on the internet. I mean, I've got 600 plus videos that you can use. If you go into an employer tomorrow and say, I've been watching James White's videos, he's a sales mentor, and I've been learning his stuff on how to ask better questions and how to handle objections, not only is your employer going to think, wow, this person's learning, but they're probably going to be intrigued to have a look themselves, because some of them don't necessarily have huge amounts of training knowledge to be able to learn new things. If you can show that you've understood what it is to build rapport and what it is to be able to open up a cold call, or what it takes to be able to handle the, I don't have the money objection, you're going to be in a great position to then show people that you can take their company forward. And all of that information is freely available to you. You don't have to pay a penny for that. All it takes is a bit of your time and a bit of your own dedication to learn that, and maybe watch one of those videos rather than watch Netflix or go out with friends. So if you want that career change, consume information. Become an absolute addicted to learning. I have been addicted to learning all my career, and I still learn now. I still read books. I still want to be curious about what's happening. And if you want that career change to happen, do the same thing. If you show that you're keen to just build your knowledge and do what Michelangelo said, one of the most genius artists of all time, painted the Sistine Chapel, who said, age 87, I'm still learning. Show that desire, show you've read things, show you've listened to things, show you've watched things, show you've applied, and maybe even made some sacrifices to learn to build your skills. And you're going to be an incredible asset that I certainly would be interested in taking into my business. And I'm sure there's lots of other sales managers and directors that do the same thing. Learning is critical. Have a desire for it, have a hunger for it. Show that you can apply it, and show what you've done, and you're going to impress people and make them think, yeah, they're the one for me. And my final point is this: be persistent. Sales is about persistence when done in the right way. But if you fundamentally want a better life for yourself, and you want to be able to see the opportunity to earn commission and achieve great things, then don't give up at the first hurdle. There's a great quote that I always say to people, which is, on the road to success, there are very few people on the final mile. And the reality is, so many people give up too early. They sort of get rejected maybe 10 times from a sales role and then think, this isn't for me and I'm not going to. Don't. Maybe you need 20, 30, 40 times. There's a great story I always tell about a postman who lived in the UK, and he always wanted to be the caddy for a golfer called Sergio Garcia. And he tweeted him one day and said, can I be your caddy? And of course, Sergio Garcia, being the celebrity that he is, gets lots of these requests. But he carried on 212 days in a row. He tweeted Sergio Garcia and said, can I be your caddy? And guess what happened? On the 213th day, Sergio Garcia said, okay, I give in, you can be my caddy. And he achieved his lifetime's dream of being a caddy for a professional golfer that he always admired. Now, would he have got that if he'd have given up after stage 50 or stage 70? No. You had to be persistent. James Dyson, the billionaire owner of Dyson products, had nearly 200 plus failures when he created his first vacuum cleaner. And look at him now. He's achieved incredible things. So you have to be persistent. You have to have that desire inside of you that says, I want a better life and I'm not going to give up. And if you show persistence alongside the other characteristics and attributes that I've mentioned, then it's going to give you the best opportunity to get that new role and turn that career path to where you want it to be and achieve a brilliant life. Don't give up. If you believe you want to do this, you want to make that change happen, be focused on it, make it happen. So these are the skills and characteristics you need to put in place. Across my 30 plus years of sales experience, these are the things that I see that make a difference. So if you want to achieve the success you desire and the life you dream of, put these elements into place. You're going to give yourself the best possible chance of turning your life from where it is now to where you dream of it being. And if you are thinking, I want to get better at these skills and learn even more, I've put a link in below to a course that I've got called TRACKFARE, which covers these attributes and skills that I've talked about and gives you much more information on how you can build those skills to impress a future employer. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, there's so many more videos I've got for you to become successful in sales and build the career you want. And just like the lady that I met that Friday evening, who's I've recommended her to watch the videos and to become what she dreams of, you can achieve it. You can make it happen. I wish you all the very best for doing it. And the videos that I share on my resources and my podcast and everything I've got is here to help you become a sales superstar. Go and watch them, go and listen to them, take the action, make it happen. I'll see you soon.